The shocking truth about dementia. No one told you. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing you can't remember where you left your keys. A few days later, you forget the name of the neighbor you've greeted every single day for years. And then, one day, you struggle to recognize the faces of your own family. This isn't just a bad dream. For millions of people around the world, this is reality. But today, I'm going to tell you a story that will completely change the way you think about dementia. A story that challenges everything we've been told for decades. For over 60 years, doctors were convinced they had found the main culprit, a protein called beta-amyloid. They believed it was like toxic waste building up in the brain, destroying nerve cells, erasing memories, and eventually stealing a person's identity. Pharmaceutical companies poured hundreds of billions of dollars into developing drugs to remove this protein from the brain, convinced that would stop the disease in its tracks. The world believed the answer was finally within reach. But here's the twist. Despite decades of research and enormous investments, not a single drug was able to stop dementia. In fact, they couldn't even slow it down. This shocking failure forced scientists to dig deeper, and what they discovered would turn the entire theory upside down. I want to share with you two real-life stories that shook me to the core. The first is about a 78-year-old woman whose brain scans showed an extremely high level of beta-amyloid. According to every medical textbook, she should have been suffering from severe dementia. But she wasn't. She remembered all her grandchildren's names, cooked complex recipes from memory, and lived an active, independent life. The second story is the complete opposite. A man with far lower levels of beta-amyloid had already forgotten the names of his closest family members. He barely recognized the people he loved and struggled to hold a simple conversation. How could this be? Why would someone with a high amount of this toxic protein still have a sharp mind, while another with less of it was losing himself piece by piece? Cases like these began to appear more often, forcing scientists to question everything they thought they knew. And in 2020, a team of South Korean researchers made a groundbreaking discovery, one that could change the future of dementia research forever. They found that the real destroyers of the brain were not beta-amyloid proteins at all. The true villains are special brain cells known as toxic reactive astrocytes. This discovery is more than just science. It's hope. Because unlike beta-amyloid, these astrocytes can actually be influenced and controlled. This means, for the first time, we may have a real chance to protect our brains and preserve our memories as we age. In the next chapter, I'll explain what these mysterious astrocytes are, how they normally protect the brain, and why, under certain conditions, they turn from loyal guardians into relentless destroyers. The guardians of the brain, and how they turn against us. Inside your brain lives an entire universe of cells, each with its own job. Among them are some of the most important, astrocytes. Their name comes from the Greek word for star, because under a microscope they really do look like tiny shining stars. Astrocytes are the brain's loyal caretakers. They feed your neurons, clean up waste, and keep your brain's environment balanced so nerve cells can work at their best. Think of them as gardeners and janitors combined, nurturing the brain's plants and sweeping away anything that could harm them. But here's the problem. Just like people, astrocytes can change under pressure. When exposed to stress, injury, infections, or toxins, they can transform into something entirely different, reactive astrocytes. And there are two kinds. The first kind, mild reactive astrocytes, appear during short-term problems, like a small injury or temporary inflammation, and they can heal and return to their normal, helpful selves once the danger is gone. The second kind, however, is a different story. These are toxic reactive astrocytes, the dark side of the brain's guardians. Once they turn toxic, they start producing an enzyme that creates hydrogen peroxide. Yes, the same chemical you might use to clean a wound on your skin. But imagine that chemical being made inside your brain. It's poisonous to neurons, destroying them from the inside out. This is why drugs targeting beta-amyloid have failed. They've been fighting the wrong enemy all along. While scientists were busy clearing away a harmless bystander, the real killer, toxic astrocytes, kept quietly destroying the brain. Now that we know who the true enemy is, the next question is, where do these toxic astrocytes come from? And more importantly, how can we stop them before they do irreversible damage? In the next chapter, we'll dive into the 5 main causes that trigger toxic astrocytes. And you might be shocked to find that some of them are part of your daily life right now. The 5 triggers that turn brain cells into killers. Now that we know the real villains behind dementia, toxic reactive astrocytes, it's time to uncover what actually turns these once loyal brain guardians into ruthless destroyers. Scientists have identified 5 major triggers, and some of them might already be part of your life. 1. Chronic stress. We all deal with stress, but when stress becomes your daily companion, constant deadlines, family pressure, financial worries, your brain is forced into high alert mode. This triggers a steady flow of the stress hormone cortisol. In small bursts, cortisol is useful. But when levels stay high for weeks or months, it becomes toxic, damaging neurons and pushing astrocytes into their destructive state. It's like living next to a fire alarm that never stops ringing. Sooner or later, something inside will break. 2. Head injuries. Car accidents, sports impacts, even a minor bump to the head can be enough to trigger long-term damage. People often brush off a concussion thinking, I feel fine, so it's nothing. But even small injuries can set off a chain reaction inside the brain that leads to the birth of toxic astrocytes. 3. Viral infections. Recent research has shown that viruses can spark brain inflammation. One of the most striking examples is COVID-19. Many people who recovered from it report brain fog, poor memory, and fatigue. Symptoms now linked to astrocyte activation. It's a chilling reminder that even after an infection is gone, its effects on the brain can linger. 4. Toxins in the environment, air pollution, heavy metals, pesticides, plastics. All of these can pass through the brain's protective barrier. Once inside, they act like microscopic saboteurs, damaging cells and triggering inflammation that leads to toxic astrocytes. The danger is that these toxins are often invisible. You can't see them, smell them, or taste them, but they're still there. 5. Oxidative stress. This is a chemical imbalance where there's too much reactive oxygen in the body. It damages cells the same way rust damages metal. Smoking, heavy drinking, poor sleep, and too much unprotected sun exposure all accelerate this process. And in the brain, oxidative stress can push astrocytes over the edge. Knowing these 5 triggers is the first step toward protecting your brain. Because once you understand what you're up against, you can start fighting back. And that's exactly what we'll cover in the next chapter. Practical, science-backed ways to stop toxic astrocytes before they start destroying your memories. Your battle plan: how to protect your brain from the inside out. Now that you know what triggers toxic astrocytes, let's flip the script. Instead of waiting for them to appear, we're going to fight back, starting today. The good news? These aren't complicated, expensive medical procedures. They're small, powerful habits you can build into your life, and they can change everything. Step 1. Master your stress. We can't remove all stress from life, but we can stop it from controlling us. One of the simplest, most effective tools is something you can do right now, anywhere: deep breathing. Here's how. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 8 seconds. Exhale gently through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat this for 5 minutes a day, and you'll help lower cortisol, calm your nervous system, and keep astrocytes in their healthy state. If breathing exercises feel too slow for you, try short meditation sessions, calming music, or even just a daily walk in a quiet place. Step 2. Protect your sleep. Your brain does its housekeeping while you sleep, clearing out waste, repairing cells, and recharging your memory systems. Adults need 7 to 8 hours a night, ideally going to bed before 11 p.m. and waking between 6 and 7 a.m. Poor sleep increases stress hormones and inflammation, exactly what toxic astrocytes love. Step 3. Move every day. Movement is brain fuel. Aerobic activities, brisk walking, cycling, swimming, boost blood flow and oxygen, which feed your neurons. 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, is enough to make a noticeable difference. Add a little strength training twice a week to keep your muscles and brain strong. Step 4. Eat like your brain. Depends on it, because it does. To fight inflammation and oxidative stress, you need antioxidants and healthy fats. Blueberries, packed with brain-protecting compounds called anthocyanins. Nuts, rich in vitamin E and omega-3s, just a handful a day. Green tea, a source of EGCG, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound. Turmeric, its active ingredient curcumin, is like armor for your brain cells. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines. Or omega-3 supplements if you don't eat fish. Step 5. Cut the brain killers. Smoking, heavy alcohol use, and toxic exposure all speed up astrocyte damage. Quit or reduce them as much as possible. Even small reductions make a difference. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into how to keep toxins away from your brain, even when you can't completely control your environment. Keeping the brain's enemies out. We live in a world filled with invisible threats, toxins we can't always see, smell, or taste. But make no mistake, they're out there, and they can slip past the brain's natural defenses. Today we'll talk about how to keep these silent invaders out of your head and your life. Air quality, your first line of defense. On days when the air outside is heavy with pollution, staying indoors can save your brain years of damage. If you have to go out, wear a high-quality protective mask, something like a KF94 or N95. And inside your home, invest in a good air purifier. Your lungs and your neurons will thank you. Rethink your kitchen habits. Here's a tip that surprises a lot of people. Never store hot food in plastic containers, and never microwave food in plastic. Heat makes plastic release chemicals that can pass into your food and eventually find their way into your brain. Switch to glass, stainless steel, or ceramic for storage and cooking, especially for acidic foods like tomatoes. Watch what's in your water. Contaminants can also come from your tap. A high-quality water filter can reduce heavy metals and other harmful particles that might contribute to inflammation in the brain. Limit pesticide exposure. When possible, choose organic produce for the foods you eat most often, especially fruits and vegetables that you don't peel. If organic isn't an option, wash them thoroughly with baking soda or vinegar solution. Protect against heavy metals. Lead, mercury, and cadmium can be found in old paint, certain seafood, and even cosmetics. Avoid questionable sources and be cautious about supplements or herbal remedies from unverified sellers. Each small change you make reduces the load your brain has to deal with, and the less toxic stress it faces, the longer it stays sharp and healthy. In the next chapter, we'll shift our focus from avoiding damage to actively strengthening your brain through mental training and human connection. Training your brain like a muscle. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain is not fixed. It can grow stronger, build new connections, and adapt, even as you age. But just like your body, it needs regular training to stay in shape. Mental workouts matter. The best way to keep your mind sharp is to challenge it. That means doing things that push you just a little outside your comfort zone. Read books, both fiction and nonfiction. Learn a new language. Play a musical instrument. Solve puzzles, crosswords, or logic games. Each time you try something new, you're building neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new pathways. And the more pathways you have, the harder it is for diseases like dementia to take hold. The social connection factor. Your brain is wired for human contact. When you talk, laugh, or share a moment with someone, your brain releases chemicals that reduce stress and strengthen memory. On the flip side, isolation can be devastating. It raises stress hormones, weakens your immune system, and speeds up cognitive decline. Make time to connect. Call a friend, visit family, join a club or community group, online or in person. Even short conversations can lift your mood and protect your brain. Mixing the two for maximum effect. Here's the secret. You can combine mental and social activity for double the benefit. Play chess with a friend, join a book club, or take a cooking class with others. You're learning, engaging, and building relationships all at once. Keeping your mind and heart active is one of the strongest defenses you have against dementia. And when you pair this with healthy lifestyle habits, you're building a shield around your brain. In the next chapter, we'll talk about another key part of that shield: regular health checkups, and why they might be the most underestimated brain protection tool of all. Checkups, the brain protection step. Most people skip. Here's a truth that could save your mind. By the time dementia symptoms become obvious, damage to the brain has already been building for years. That's why regular medical checkups aren't just about catching problems. They're about stopping them before they start. Why monitoring matters. High blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol are three silent destroyers of brain health. They damage blood vessels, limit oxygen flow, and create the perfect environment for toxic astrocytes to thrive. And here's the catch: you can have all three without feeling a single symptom. Know your numbers. Blood pressure, ideally under 120/80 mm Hg. Fasting blood sugar, under 5.5 mol/L, 99.9 DOL. LDL, bad cholesterol, under 3.4 mol/L, 130 DOL. Keeping these in check greatly lowers your risk of brain decline. Personalized prevention. When you see your doctor, don't just go for the basics. Talk about your family history and lifestyle. This helps them tailor a prevention plan specifically for you. Chronic conditions require consistency. If you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol issues, follow your treatment plan exactly. Every missed pill, every skipped checkup, is an opportunity for damage to sneak in. The bigger picture. Checkups aren't just about numbers. They're about building a long-term strategy for your health. Think of them as regular maintenance for your brain, just like you'd maintain a car engine. Most people wait until something goes wrong before acting. But the smartest move is to act before there's a problem. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to take everything we've learned so far and turn it into a daily brain protection routine you can actually stick to. Building your daily brain protecting routine. By now, you've learned what causes toxic astrocytes, how to avoid the triggers, and which habits protect your brain. But here's the real challenge: turning knowledge into action. Because if you can make these steps part of your daily routine, they'll work quietly in the background, protecting your mind for years to come. Morning. Start strong. Hydrate first thing. A glass of water in the morning helps kickstart circulation and flush out waste from your system. Move your body. Even 10 minutes of stretching, walking, or light exercise wakes up your brain. Plan your day. Reduce mental stress by writing down your top priorities. Daytime. Keep your brain fueled. Eat for focus. Include brain-friendly foods at each meal: berries, leafy greens, nuts, and fish. Move often. If you sit for long periods, stand up and walk for 2 to 3 minutes every hour. Take brain breaks. Short pauses for breathing or meditation can reset your mental energy. Evening. Wind down the right way. Limit screens at least an hour before bed. Blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Reflect on the positives. Write down 3 good things from your day to lower stress before sleep. Sleep ritual. Dim the lights, keep the room cool, and aim for 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted rest. The weekly boost. Learn something new. Sign up for a class, start a hobby, or read about a topic you've never explored. Social check-in. Call a friend, meet for coffee, or spend quality time with family. Outdoor time. Sunlight boosts vitamin D, which supports brain health. The secret ingredient: consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about repetition. These habits only work if they become as natural as brushing your teeth. In the next chapter, we'll look at targeted supplements and nutrients that can give your brain an extra layer of protection. Smart supplements for a stronger brain. Let's be clear, no pill will magically erase the risk of dementia, but the right nutrients taken consistently can give your brain extra protection, especially when combined with the healthy habits we've already covered. Vitamin D, the sunshine protector. Vitamin D isn't just for bones. It plays a critical role in nerve health and brain function. Low levels are linked to memory problems and cognitive decline. If you don't get enough sun, especially in winter, consider taking $1,000 to $2,000 IU per day. Vitamin B12, the memory builder. B12 helps create the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerve cells. Without enough B12, communication between brain cells slows down. Older adults and people on vegetarian or vegan diets are especially at risk. A daily supplement of around 10 mcg can help maintain healthy levels. Vitamin K2, the antioxidant powerhouse K2, helps protect cells from oxidative stress, one of the triggers for toxic astrocytes. It also supports mitochondrial function, which keeps your brain energized and alert. Omega-3 fatty acids, the brain's building blocks. Omega-3s are essential for brain cell membranes and have strong anti-inflammatory effects. If you don't eat fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines twice a week, consider an omega-3 supplement of about 1,000 mg daily. Important reminder, supplements are not a replacement for a healthy diet and lifestyle. They're backup support. Think of them as reinforcing the shield you've already built with your daily habits. In the final chapter, we'll bring everything together into a complete action plan. And I'll leave you with a powerful reminder about protecting the most valuable thing you own, your mind. Your mind is your greatest treasure. We've covered a lot together. You now know the real enemy behind dementia, toxic reactive astrocytes. You know the triggers that set them off, and the habits that can keep them in check. You've learned how to protect your brain from toxins, how to strengthen it through mental and social activity, and how to support it with the right nutrition and supplements. But here's the truth. Knowledge only matters if you act on it. Every small choice you make, what you eat, how you move, the way you manage stress, the people you spend time with, shapes the future of your brain. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself every day, even in small ways. Because your brain is not replaceable. You can earn more money, buy a new car, or move to a new house, but you can't buy back lost memories. You can't get back the moments when your mind was sharp, your personality was vibrant, and your conversations were full of life. So starting today, make a promise to yourself. To care for your brain like the priceless treasure it is. To protect it from the silent threats you now know about. To nurture it with the food, movement, rest, and relationships it needs to thrive. If you take even a few of these steps consistently, you'll be giving yourself the best possible chance to enjoy a long life filled with clarity, purpose, and joy. And now, I want to ask you for one more thing. Not for me, but for everyone who needs to hear this. Share this video with your friends and family. You could be giving them the key to protecting their own minds. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment telling me which step you're going to start with today. Your support helps this message reach more people, and together, we can build a community that values and protects the most powerful organ we have. Your brain is your life's storyteller. Let's make sure it has many more beautiful chapters to write.